って弱くない。
バカ星と一緒にするな。あの男の家族だろうと。手加減先祖付きだ。
A boy named Ichiban Boshi enters the East Town Magistrate and stops some bullies from harassing an innocent man. He puts up a spirited fight, but is taken away by the cops, and then he laments the current situation in his world. He is sent to be executed along with a team of other criminals that include Sakuya, Akira, Sogen, Suzuran, Yataro, Bo, and another unnamed man. However, they are suddenly taken away by Todo Heisuke, the captain of the Shinsengumi, also known as Team 8. He is questioned by the criminals regarding his intentions, and he reveals that the previous Shinsengumi team was assassinated after the political change on 18th August. Basically, he wants to recruit the criminals so that they can become substitutes for his ex-team members Kondo Isumi, Serizawa Kamo, Sannan Keisuke, Saito Hajime, Harada Sanosuke, Okita Soji, Nagura Shinpachi, and Hijikata Toshizo. The criminals express their concerns, but Todo threatens to kill them if they don't join his mission. The man allotted to be Kamo refuses to be a part of this, so he is slashed immediately by Sakuya. The others join in after learning the benefits of siding with Toda, and only Ichiban is left now. He recalls how his family was killed off by a samurai wearing a mask and refuses to become what he despises. Todo identifies the mask and reveals that it is from the Zome no Oni clan, which was responsible for the death of the Shinsengumi members. Now that they have a common enemy, Ichiban is given Kondo's sword, and the team officially becomes the new Shinsengumi substitutes. The next day, Matsudaira Katamori asks Todo about the progress of the new clan as the political situation is growing worse. Akizuki Teijiro also asks Todo to make sure the team is ready to take on the rival groups as they are continuing to grow their network. Todo learns that the samurai mask is related to the Nogaku, so it will be hard to track down. Then the elders tell him to look into some ronins that are terrorizing the town. Meanwhile, Ichiban practices against Akira without using a sword and is rebuked by Todo as he says that they must not be casual with their mission. The group splits up into 3 teams that include Ichiban and Sakuya, Sogen and Suzuran, and the rest of the clan as they investigate the ronins. Todo tries to keep his criminals under control, while Sogen and Suzuran treat a man named Mokichi who has been wounded by a cursed sword. Ichiban and Sakuya find one of the masked samurais who instantly attack Ichiban. Sakuya saves him and scares the villain away, but Ichiban chases after him. He finds the samurai threatening a family and gets triggered, so he activates his Gatatsu sword to break through the cursed sword and defeat the samurai. As he is thanked by the family, Ichiban officially introduces himself as Kondo. Todo spots the sword's abilities and realizes that Ichiban was granted Kondo's powers through his soul. A flashback shows the massacre of the Shinsengumi and how Todo was able to survive by attacking the leader. The next day, the substitute meet Tsuchimikado Haro, whom Todo briefs on the newest members of their team. He analyzes them and is particularly interested in Ichiban and Sakuya. That's when we learn that Sakuya's mom was a victim of domestic abuse. The team is later alerted about the arrival of Sakuma Shozan and is told that they have to escort him on his journey. They greet him and Shozan seems to recognize Sakuya, but he doesn't respond to his statement. As they travel, Shozan acts friendly with the team, but then Akira senses danger, and suddenly an army of assassins surrounds them. An intense battle breaks out, but Ichiban isn't able to activate his sword, so the others get the job done, but they aren't able to do work together despite their individual skills. To make matters worse, Suzuran breaks his sword in the middle of the fight, and Shozan worries for them. After the battle, he remembers that Sakuya was an assassin who tried to kill him once. However, Ichiban stands up for him and diffuses the situation. Then the team reaches the Kobe port, where they see the power of American warships. Shozan tells the substitutes about the growing dangers of foreign resistance, so the country needs to be united as one. As they head back, Shozan tries to assess the team members by understanding their motivations. He is particularly amused by Ichiban's vision and mentions that he would like him to meet Sakamoto Ryoma, as he thinks they will get along very well. Later, Shozan arrogantly passes out on the floor, and then Akira finds Ichiban training rigorously in the night. As the two of them bond over Ichiban's past, we learn that Sakuya had killed his abusive father, who became the first of his many victims. Later, Sakuya meets his old master, Kawakami Gensai, who asks him to kill Shozan, but he refuses to do so as he's indebted to the Shinsengumi for granting him a new life. They get into a deadly battle, and Sakuya struggles at first, but then Ichiban arrives as Kotetsu has led him here. That's when he learns from Gensai that Sakuya had killed his dad, and it distracts him. Gensai attacks Ichiban and knocks out his sword quite easily, but then Sakuya saves him by killing his ex-master. The next day, Katamori arrives and talks to Todo about Katsura Koguro. He asks him to look into some rumors that paint Katsura as a villain, and then we see Sogen figuring out a way to fix Suzuran's broken sword. Now Ichiban gets into an argument with Todo over Sakuya, as he doesn't trust him now that he knows he committed patricide. Then we see a flashback where Akira relives her traumatic past. She dresses up as a geisha, and then she joins Ichiban as they try to infiltrate the Choshu domain to investigate Katsura. Meanwhile, Suzuran and Sogen run into a woman of the night, and Sogen identifies her to have syphilis. She walks away at first, but comes back with some useful information. We also see Gyataro and Bo running into one of Gyataro's buddies, who have some intel for them. In the Yoshidaya, Akira is caught eavesdropping on Katsura and his man, but the lead geisha, Ikuchiyo, vouches for her and brings her inside. As Sakuya and Todo inspect the city, Sakuya spots a spy from the Choshu domain and questions him. He reveals that he was told to spread rumors about Katsura frequenting the Yoshidaya in order to bring shame to his name. Suddenly, Katsura and his men decide to kill everyone in the Yoshidaya after the geishas are done with their service. Luckily, Ichiban comes in and reveals he has already evacuated the others. However, he forgets to bring his and Akira's sword, much to her disappointment. Fortunately for them, Gyataro and Bo drop by and start fighting the enemy. Sogen and Suzuran also join the party, as we see that his broken sword has been transformed into an electric weapon. Ichiban struggles to use his sword, but Sakuya saves him and takes down all the pawns. That's when Katsura arrives with his cursed sword, but Akira awakens her own sword with Okita's soul and takes him down with ease. However, she realizes that he isn't the real Katsura. In a surprising turn of events, we learn that Ikuchiyo is the real Katsura in disguise. Our heroes train some more later in the night, after which Gyataro and Bo get drunk and pass out. However, some of the Shinsengumi members are shown to be Choshu spies, and they are about to kill the drunken warriors. But luckily, their swords wake them up. The others are also alerted by the sound of sword fighting and help their friends, after which the traitorous leader is tortured for information by Sakuya. However, Ichiban calls him out for being a father killer as he opposes his inhuman methods of extracting information. Funnily enough, these accusations are enough to scare the traitor into talking about whatever he knows. Later, Todo goes to the elders and tells them about the cursed swords, which are being circulated by orphan children by a group known as the Masked Demons. In order to find out who's behind this, Gyataro goes to his orphan army with Bo and Ichiban to get information. The group bonds over Ichiban's past, as he was also orphaned at a young age. Meanwhile, Akira confronts Katsura, who reveals his true identity and offers to give his side of the story, as he is also being troubled by the Choshu spies. Ichiban thinks back to his own brother Tsukito, as he sees two brothers having a good time. Now Gyotaro meets his friend Tomekichi and asks about the cursed swords he's dealing in, so he leads them to the source. Todo stops Sakuya from torturing the traitor any further, and then Akira learns of the Masked Demon's motivations from Katsura as he offers to work with her by exchanging information. Ichiban, Gyataro, and Bo spots the swords being given to the same spies that attacked them the previous night, so they apprehended them and bring them back to the base. After this, Akira and Sakuya go to the Demachi Delta to wait for the leader of the Masked Demons. The others follow Tomekichi as he goes to deal with some other customers. However, the Masked Demons beat him up and he is about to be killed, but Ichiban, Gyataro, and Bo come to the rescue. Now Sakuya confronts a blonde samurai named Rashomaru on his boat, but he tricks him and escapes. As the team activates their swords to save Tomekichi, Rashomaru appears and Ichiban identifies his sword to be the same one that killed his parents. He chases after the villain and fights him, but is shocked to learn that he is Tsukito after he takes off his mask. Ichiban is confused, so Tsukito says that he is the new captain of the masked demons and now goes by the name Rashomaru. He shows the blade that has their parents' souls in it, and shockingly reveals that he was the one who had stabbed their mother. Rashomaru attacks Ichiban, but Sakuya drops by and gives him a fight. However, Rashomaru manages to escape after a brief encounter. As Sojin analyzes the ronin bodies, he isn't able to find anything extraordinary about them or their swords. Meanwhile, Ichiban isn't able to come to terms with what Tsukito told him. Sogen and Suzuran go to meet Mokichi and his daughter Oito, but she tells them that her dad is sick again. Sogen notices no injuries on the body, but then Mokichi abruptly dies. Sogen wants to dissect him for further research, but Suzuran advises against it. Now they talk about how they were arrested for crimes that were not as serious as most others, and also debate the existence of souls. That's when Suzuran's swords start to sense some danger. Suzuran isn't able to locate the source, but then he sees Mokichi's soul, who points him towards the Shirakawaya clan. Todo is informed about this, and while Ichiban wants to attack the clan immediately, Todo says that they will need evidence before breaking into someone else's property. After a brief argument, Ichiban is forbidden from leaving headquarters as he might do something rash. Later, Akira meets Katsura, who takes her under a bridge. She mentions the Shirakawaya clan, and he reveals that they are notoriously known for manipulating kerosene prices. Ichiban remembers his past, and then Sakuya tells him that he needs to come to terms with reality. He also says he is going to kill Rashomaru because he could sense that he has lost his humanity. After some deduction, Sogen assumes that the enemy is trying to use souls as weapons, but can't figure out where they are being stored. Suddenly, he and Suzuran are cornered by masked demons and get into a fight. Meanwhile, Rashomaru tells his master about Ichiban and declares that he'll kill his brother if he interferes with their plan. Sogen and Suzuran come back to the team after winning the fight and reveal the masked demon's involvement with the Shirakawaya. This is enough for Todo to plan an attack on the clan, but he tells Ichiban to stay at the base in order to avoid any unnecessary hindrances. And that's the end of part 1. Like, share, and subscribe if you want me to cover the rest of the show. Hit the bell icon if you want regular updates on my videos too. Okay then, I'll see you soon.